peace be upon you. The ABC light on your car's dashboard indicates signals of braking or suspension issue. Key reasons include low brake fluid, faulty sensors, or a malfunctioning ABS module. To address this, first check and refill the brake fluid. If the light persists, inspect the sensors and wiring for damage. If necessary, consult a professional for diagnostics while exploring budget-friendly repair options. Regular maintenance can prevent future issues, ensuring safety.
This is the car with the problem. The EPC light is always on while the car is moving, and this affects acceleration, and the car feels sluggish, especially at speeds above 80 kilometers per hour. The EPC light is an abbreviation for electronic power control. When it appears in Skoda, Volkswagen, Audi, and seat cars, it means there is a problem with the electronic engine control. Although I deleted all the recorded faults, they reappear and record 8 faults on the ECM, engine control module, and data stream. I didn't get anything out of it. The first solution I tried for this problem was to check the electrical connector for the accelerator pedal. I took it apart and checked the wires. I made sure they were all intact and checked the connector itself, because if there was a broken or corroded end, it would cause this problem. After I finished checking, I moved the brake sensor to check its connector and make sure it was intact and didn't have any breaks, a frayed wire, or any other defect. I confirmed that it was working normally and had no electrical problems. The second most common cause of this problem is the throttle body connector. I disconnected all the hoses leading to the throttle body, and when I got close to it, I noticed that the connector was covered in oil. When I disconnected it and took it out, I found that the oil had reached the internal terminals. I got a cleaning spray and cleaned the connector thoroughly to remove all traces of oil. Of course, I had to clean the area where the connector is attached and dry it with compressed air. Before reconnecting the connector, I checked each wire and made sure it was intact. The plugs around it were covered in oil, and I cleaned them, but the problem persisted. Then I went to the fuel injector rail to test the fuel pump pressure, because if it's weak, it will cause this problem. All I needed was a simple, inexpensive gauge to check the fuel pump pressure and whether it's good or weak. And if there's a leak inside the pump, the pressure is reasonable, around 5 bar, and it doesn't drop quickly. If it drops and the gauge falls rapidly, it means there's a leak inside the pump. The exhaust sensor has been moved because if there's a problem, a broken wire, or a blockage in the exhaust pipes, it will cause the same issue. The reading on the diagnostic tool was normal on the data stream. I disconnected one of the hoses leading to the manifold to install a negative pressure gauge to measure the negative pressure inside the manifold and see if it was normal. The negative pressure is normal and there's no problem. I ruled out the spark plugs and injectors, even though they are among the most common causes, because the car owner had recently replaced the spark plugs and checked the injectors, and their performance was good. During the inspection, I discovered that the oil vapor valve attached to this hose was blocked at both ends. Its normal function is to direct the vapor towards the gate, but not return it. The test method is to blow into it with your mouth from both ends. The air must flow in one direction only. The second direction is air. Nothing else works, otherwise it's faulty. Of course, I replaced the crankshaft sensor and the camshaft sensor. If they had a problem, they would cause the same issue. I checked them and their connectors, everything was fine, and the problem was still there. In the end, I went back to the area that was flooded with oil and found out the reason for the oil leak. The oil vapor hose was cut. Of course, I replaced it, and I definitely had to close the throttle body before cleaning it with pressurized gasoline. After it dried, I disconnected all the connections attached to the throttle body because I had to clean it since they were causing this problem. When I took it apart and turned it inside out, I found that its condition was indeed very bad inside. I got a container specifically for cleaning electric and regular throttle bodies because all the ones on the market are labeled carburetor cleaner. And this is the only one labeled throttle body cleaner, and it's specifically designed for electric throttle bodies. Its name is Reswell 60i. It's German-made, and I used it to clean the throttle body from both sides, washing away all the deposits inside. This is what it looked like after cleaning. I reinstalled it as it was and tightened its screws. Here, the ABS light turned off by itself. For your information, you might have only one of the reasons I explained. It's not necessary for all of them to be faulty, and it's not necessary for the throttle body to come out. I explained all the reasons that cause this problem so that if you encounter it, you'll know what to do. Like and share the video because it will definitely help others. We'll continue together in the next video, God willing.